Hey guys, Bryson with Trick Tools here, and today we're going to be talking to you guys about our lineup of benchtop model hem saws. So these are all horizontal bandsaws, and wanted to explain to you guys the difference between them because we understand that sometimes when you look at them on the website that they can tend to look the same, and it's hard to maybe determine exactly what the differences is, especially size, and why one saw might be better for your job than another. So for starters here, we have the 782 XL. This is the smallest in the lineup, and this saw has a couple of unique features to itself. For starters, talking about the base, this is just a stamped metal base. It does have a decent amount of thickness to it, so it is fairly sturdy, for being able to do some pretty good sized material on even such a small saw. So this saw has a 4 1/8 cutting capacity on round tubing. So a couple of basic features that you can see here. Has the handle grip for the trigger, so real easy to grab a hold of, start the saw and make your cut. This saw is the only one of these saws that can be tilted up into a vertical manner, and we do have a table that goes in here that allows you to do some vertical cutting on this saw, so that's a pretty cool feature. So this saw here has a 1.3 horsepower motor. It is 2-speed, so you get one speed that is 197 feet per minute on the blade, and then another one that is 262 feet per minute on the blade. So you have your power switch back here to turn the saw on. There's an off switch, so when you turn that off, obviously the trigger doesn't work, so you got to hit the on button here in order to be able to activate the trigger. And then there's another switch right on the back here that has a little 1 or a 2 on it, so that's going to change up your speed. So when you turn this on, this right now is on the high speed, so this is the 262 feet per minute. And then you can switch it down to the lower speed. So gives you the ability to change up your speed based on the material you're cutting, or potentially the blade that you have in there as well. If you have a different blade in there, to be able to account for your material that you're cutting as well. So these use a little 1/2-inch wide blade. We do have a couple of blade options available. We'll have those listed out for you. There's an adjustable guard here on the front, so you can get that adjusted. You can slide this up and down to change for your material size, and once you get that set, you can get to work. So the vise here, pretty basic. You just tighten this up, squeeze it up on your material, and you're ready to go. The last feature I'll point out is the pivoting miter on here, so you can loosen that handle and you can turn this up to a 45-degree angle to get some miter cutting done. So it has a nice little readout on here with a line mark, so you can go from 0 to 45 degrees, tighten up your handle, and you can get right to cutting. So and then also, I guess the last thing would be once you get that set, you're going to be done with the saw, put that back to 0. There's a locking pin here that locks it down, and this saw is pretty lightweight and portable to be able to easily carry around your shop, job site, or wherever you need to operate it. So it does come with, as with all of these saws, they all come with a adjustable length stop. So this you can attach into the base here, and you can move the stop here. You can slide this up and down wherever you need it in order to have a repeatability aspect where you can slide your material through and stop it here, and just make multiple cuts the same length without having to measure it out every time. So that comes with each one of these saws. So that is the 782 XL, and next we have the 105 saw. Now this saw is the ABS 105, so this saw here has what they call their automatic blade system. So this has an automatic down feed. That is not a feature that you can get on the 782 XL. So if you want the automatic down feed, you want the ABS 105. So this saw has a couple of features that separate it from the 782. They are pretty much the same exact size, exterior dimensions, same base, all of that. So yeah, here you have all the same features. You got your adjustable guard, you've got your on-off switch with your trigger on the handle here. But if you're going to use it as an automatic cut, once you get this in place here, you can hit the power button to turn it on, and then there's going to be a switch on the side here. So as that travels down, it will automatically turn the saw off. So that's pretty cool. We have here this little yellow lever with a pin, and that is going to adjust the amount of pressure that it's giving down on your material. So there's a heavy, medium, light, and a light as far as the weight, as far as what's cutting down through your material. So you need to have that set accordingly. That way you can have that go automatically down through your material in the proper manner. Yeah, there is a safety shut-off switch on here. So if you do, let's say you have this on, and you have that cutting down through your material, you can hit that safety switch and shut it off. So this saw, in order to get it up in this position, if you don't have the ABS system on and you just want to do regular cutting, you can then basically you can bring the saw head up and lock it in position. That way you can get your material in. If you have your length stop on here, you can get that all set up. And then in order to start cutting, you just tilt the head back a little further, and then you can bring it down, do your cut. Same thing with the automatic down feed. So you get that set up there. It does have the locking pin so that you can lock the head down and easily pick up the saw to be able to move it around. So like I said, a lot of similar, same features as the 782, but those couple extra that make this a pretty unique little saw. So these two saws here would be more of the small garage, small shop type saw, maybe a job site saw where you want to be able to easily take it out, do some cutting with it, out on a job site where it's easy to move, easy to take with you, and that sort of thing. Same mitering head on this saw. Loosen up the handle here, and you can pivot that 45 degrees and back and anywhere in between, and get that locked into place. And you're ready to do your cutting. So the last thing too is that this saw is also the 2-speed. So this has 197 feet per minute and 262 feet per minute on the blade speed. So you can get that set up where you need it for your material. So yeah, that's the ABS 105. So the next in the lineup here is the NG 120XL. So this saw is a little bit bigger, as you can see, than the ABS 105 and the 782. So this saw has a little more cutting capacity. This has a 4 3/4 inch cutting capacity on round material. This saw gives you variable speed. So it has a little adjustment knob here on the motor from 1 all the way up to 6. And there's a little chart right here on the motor that's going to tell you what your feet per minute is on the blade, depending on where you have this set. So if you're down at 1, you're about 114 feet per minute, and if you're all the way up at 6, you're at 262. So anywhere in between, it's going to vary, based on what number you have it on. So yeah, you got the variable speed on there. The on switch is on the back. You just an on-off variable speed adjustment. That's it as far as the speed goes. So when you have this and you want to turn it on, trigger on the handle right here, there's a little safety button on the side. That way you don't accidentally bump the trigger. You have to hit the safety button, and then you can pull the trigger and get the saw working. So this right here is turning on the 1 speed. So this is 114 feet per minute, and you can go up with it from there. That would be in the 6th position. The cool thing about this saw head is that once you get it up here, it basically works on a tensioning system for the pivot. So when you get it up, it's just not going to fall into place. Anywhere you set it down through the travel, it's just going to stay there. So it's not going to, you don't have to worry about trying to lock it up in position or hold it in a certain area. Once you do your cut, you raise it back up, it just stays right there. So that's pretty nice. You do have your adjustable the adjustable guard here, so you can get these adjusted out depending on what size material you're going with. You can get that adjusted to fit your material. And you have the vise, it's just a screw vise. Get your material in there and tighten it up. So the step up on the 120 here as opposed to the 782 or the 105 is that this is a cast base. So this base is going to be even more sturdy and able to handle the bigger material and the heavier duty use that this little bit bigger saw gives you. So there is little provisions in the base if you wanted to drill down through your table or wherever you want to have it set and be able to mount it to that surface. That way you can have that really sturdy setup there if you don't really want to be able to move the saw around. If you want to be able to move the saw around, there's the pin here. You just slide that in, lock it in, and you can pick up the saw, easily move it around your job site. I do have the adjustable length stop in position on here. There's a little mounting boss sticking out here. You thread that in there. Then you can loosen up here, adjust your length stop out wherever you need it, tighten it in place, and get to cutting. You can make those repeat cuts. So as far as the mitering capabilities on this saw, so we're gonna open that pin back up, tilt the saw head back. So when you loosen this handle here, you can pivot the head around. This saw can pivot up to 60 degrees. So right here, we're at 45, and there's a little knob right here on the back. This is a pretty cool feature that has a little stop in here. And depending on where you have this set, you can go either directly to 45 or you can go all the way up to 60. So when you get that flipped around, you go to 60 degrees, you can lock your head in, but it will always return back to that position. If you need to go, say, from 0 to 60, you can easily do that just by the flip of this little lever here on the back. So you can get that here, and we'll get that pivoted around at that 45 position, and then you can go back to 0, for that quick adjustment. So get that locked in wherever you need it. And on all of these saws, there is a little round disc right here with a screw head on it. And you can loosen that and turn that little round disc in a cam type action, and that'll allow you to adjust that 0 point. So when you get this set and you get that all measured out to 0, if it's not quite lining up perfectly and you need to kind of tweak your 0 on there, you can easily do that with that little disc cam right here. So yeah, this would be the NG120XL. All right, so last but not least here, we have the NG160. And this saw, as you can see, is quite a bit bigger than even the 120, and especially the 105 or the 782. This saw here has a 2.7 horsepower motor, so it's going to give you a lot more cutting power. And both the 120 and the 160, the blade actually turns in the opposite direction. So on most of your bandsaws, the blade actually turns in this direction and comes across the material and pushes and does the cutting and throws the chips out the back, whereas this blade cuts the opposite direction and the blade actually comes forward and does the cutting that way. So what that does is going to up your material capacity a little bit, and the thickness of the material and the accuracy of your cut, all that is going to help with that. So this saw here, like I said, it runs on that 2.7 horsepower motor. You got your on-off switch on the side here, and then the variable speed knob is right here on the top. And just like the 120, you can go from 1 up to 6. So when you kick this saw on, it's on the 1 right now, and you can adjust that up to 6 and anywhere in between. So this saw on 1 is 137 feet per minute, and all the way up to the 229 feet per minute on this saw. So yeah, so when you get this tilted up, same thing, adjustable guide here. You have a quick, or I should say the guard. You have a quick guard here that can be flipped down. Let's say if you're back here but you want to keep a guard on it in case you got some bigger material. Once it starts to cut through, it'll actually push this guard up, or you can flip it up out of the way. This saw is a little heavier and it is a little more awkward. It can be moved around. You got these handles on the side on this big heavy-duty cast base, and you can pick it up and move it around. It's not quite as easy and user-friendly in that way as, say, the 120 or smaller. So mounting provisions in the base, and those will allow you to mount the saw if you want, and really super sturdy heavy-duty base on here. It's going to give you that larger cutting capacity that you want. So the clamping mechanism on here, obviously you have your screw vise, but what makes this vise a little more unique is that you have a lever here on the side. If you loosen that up, you can slide this back and forth quickly, get it right up close to your material, lock that in place, and then tighten it up with the screw vise. So nice quick action on the clamping there. To mention also the blade tensioning on this 160, you have the knob here, and you never have to worry if you have it tight enough or not, because this knob has basically a little clutch action that once you get it tight enough, the knob clicks over. So if you were to loosen this up a little bit, when you're tightening it, you turn it until you get that click, and you know that your blade is as tight as it needs to be. The 120 actually has the same action on the knob. So these two saws have that really nice feature on the blade tensioning. The 105 and the 782 do not have that feature. You just have to do that by feel and by feeling the blade, knowing how that's going to be the correct tightness for the blade that you have on there. So yeah, so these saws, all of these saws are all made in Italy. So they're high quality, precision made. They're really good saws for doing the job over and over again. And there's a lot of knockoffs out there on the market, but these saws here are going to be the high quality option that you're looking for a benchtop kind of horizontal bandsaw. So check out the line of hem saws on our website, and we'll be able to help you out through all the different options. The 160 and the 120 are also available in the ABS. So the ABS on this 105 was the automatic blade system, which is the automatic downfeed on the cut. You can get that system on the 120 and the 160. So if you need that automatic feed, check that out on these bigger saws as well. So hopefully this gives you some more perspective on these hem saws. And if you have any more questions, visit our website, give us a call, and we'll be able to answer them for you. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.